So where did it all go wrong for the Mets? I was at Citi Field the last two nights. John Chandler was there tonight, and he joins us now with some perspective. John, what was the tone like at the stadium and in the Mets clubhouse?
It was quiet, Bruce. It was quiet. And, you know, it's always sudden and it always stings when you lose in the postseason short of the World Series. And the Mets, particularly Pete Alonso, experiencing that after a 101-win season. There's really a lot of head-scratching and second-guessing that's going on with this team. And let's be frank, this is a failure. This is absolutely a failure after falling short of not only winning the division, but now in the wild card getting bounced by the San Diego Padres. Pete Alonso especially emotional at his locker. And, you know, Bruce, he's been telling us all along, hey, this is fun. Even when they lost Friday night, he reminded us this is fun. Well, he's learning the hard way. This is not fun.
John, let's start with the remarkable outing tonight by San Diego starter Joe Musgrove. He absolutely dominated the Mets offense. He became the first pitcher ever in a winner-take-all playoff game to fire 7 scoreless innings and give up 1 or fewer hits. He also survived a substance check from Mets manager Buck Showalter. He escaped that jam. John, it was his only worry of the night.
Yeah, and he didn't look too worried, frankly, when the umpires came out after Buck requested that. And a little bit of gamesmanship from the manager and maybe a tinge of desperation at that point. That is how Joe Musgrove took it, because he felt all along he was clean and he had nothing to hide. But that was certainly buzzing, not just all over social media. Francisco Lindor told us the Mets dugout was talking a lot about it as they went through and just could not find a way to solve Joe Musgrove. And Bruce, it's his first career postseason start. Sure didn't look like it tonight. Sure, he had some relief appearances in the 2017 World Series against the Dodgers, but to come out tonight to be perfect through the first 4 innings in a winner-take-all postseason game, that is incredible stuff. And as players from the Mets told me, look, forget all the ear stuff. He executed almost perfectly tonight.
Let's get to the other side. Chris Bassitt, 4 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks. Couldn't get on the same page with Tomas Nido in the second and got out of rhythm, and that 2-run single by Nola really hurt him in this ball game.
Yeah, and Bruce, I thought Chris Bassitt got rattled in large part because of what the Padres were doing to him. They were stepping out of the box a lot. I think that was kind of their game plan. And remember, their manager, Bob Melvin, managed Chris Bassitt at Oakland. He knows him better than just about anyone in this ballpark tonight. At the end of the day, Bassitt looked rattled. The moment looked a little bit too big for him out there. And you know, he so badly wanted to atone for how he pitched against the Braves in what was a crucial game, especially crucial looking back on how this season now ends tonight. And Buck Showalter talked before the game about having to get Chris Bassitt settled down because of that. I think that played right into it.
Sometimes guys emerge in a big game or a big series, and out of nowhere they become stars. Trent Grisham is one of them. He batted .184, John, during the regular season. He's a lifetime .222 hitter, and in this series he just wrecked the Mets with a couple of home runs and a fantastic catch tonight on Mark Canha in the 5th inning with Alonso on board and 1 out, and I thought that really hurt the Amazons in this ball game.
Yeah, his glove did just as much damage as his bat with that 1 catch, Bruce. It snuffed out a rally that the Mets really had hoped they could put something together there, and it was an incredible catch crashing against the wall. But the way he swung the bat, the way he got on base, he was on base 4 times tonight. 7 times in the entire month of September he was able to reach base. So that speaks to how he struggled towards the end of the season especially, and how he starred in these 3 games for the San Diego Padres. He homered off Scherzer on Friday. He homered off deGrom on Saturday. He had an RBI single tonight. He was everywhere for the San Diego Padres and hitting .184 this season, and yet making something of it is just something that the Mets are going to have to live with all offseason.
Game 1, you look back at Game 1 and Max Scherzer, the $43 million man, the guy you expect to carry this team in the postseason. And Scherzer got beat up in that ball game, gave up 4 home runs, 80 pitches, only 49 strikes. John, what was your reaction to his thoughts in the locker room after the game?
Well, Max was pretty blunt, as you would expect, about the disappointment of this. He said flat out, this stinks. And he also talked about how he thinks that the culture that the Mets are building is right. And obviously they're going to be losing some players going forward. But Max wants to make sure that, this team and the mentality that they have and the spirit throughout this clubhouse sticks with him. Because he said when he got here, he was pleasantly surprised by just how tight-knit this clubhouse is. And that only adds to the disappointment. And Bruce, you have to wonder if that oblique was bothering him on Friday. He wanted another chance to atone for that. He's not going to get it now until next year.
It's a fair question. I thought he was terrific as a leader throughout the year. I think he really helped that clubhouse develop chemistry. But when we talk about free agents, Scherzer is not one of them, but 4 of the 5 guys in the rotation, 4 of the 5 starters are free agents to be. The Mets have a lot of concerns during this offseason. You talked about it earlier. deGrom, Diaz, Nimmo, Bassitt, Taijuan Walker, Carlos Carrasco, all free agents to be. So the Mets have a lot of decisions to make. They can only spend certain types of money. What happens to deGrom? He's the big man up there. He really didn't want to talk about it again tonight. But let's face it, that is a big question mark for this ball club.
Yeah, Bruce, that's the elephant in the room. That's the elephant in the Mets clubhouse right now, and deGrom tried his best to deflect that. He talked about on Saturday that occurred to him during his start Saturday, and he pitched such a gritty start for the Mets, and he realized at some point, this could be it. This could be his last start in a Mets uniform. deGrom did not want to go there, though, when asked about his free agent plans tonight.
I'm not going to discuss any contract stuff. It's just, we're disappointed we lost the baseball game tonight. Like I said, I'm not going to discuss any contract stuff. We just lost the game, and our season's over, and that's all there is to it. At times we needed to win. We didn't win some big baseball games, the Braves, and then, tonight. Like I said, everybody in this room's disappointed. Would have liked to have been playing for another month, but it didn't happen that way.
And of course, it has to be asked what his plans are, and you expect he's not going to talk about it. But Bruce, the fact that he even alluded to it on Saturday night, I don't know, that really kind of sends a message to me that he might have one foot already towards the exit, understanding the reality of free agency.
I'm not sure he's coming back. And to me, John, what happened to the Mets here down the stretch, I just don't think they hit well, and they also really struggled. If you look at their last 12 regular season games, they were 6-6. Their last 47, they were 26-21, and they lost that big series to Atlanta. And I think everyone knows blowing that 10.5 game lead in the NL East really came back to haunt them. John, thanks for your work out there. Great job, and hope to hear from you soon, my friend, during the Yankees series, perhaps.
Yes, Bruce, we are on to the Yankees now.